Hi guys, welcome to oldschoolhaunter for a technical update video here on my channel. 3D printing has already become part of the Halloween community, and I also own a 3D printer for a year now. I own the Anycubic Kobra Neo version 1 and it works quite reliable. It was a good printer to get in touch with 3D printing, but it's a little bit limited in printing volume. And I wanted to have something with a larger printing volume, so I decided to buy the Elegoo Neptune 4 Plus now. Actually, I wanted to buy the Neptune 4 Max, but the dimensions of this printer were way too large for me, so I couldn't find a space to place the printer. So I decided to go with the Neptune 4 Plus now. In this video I want to take you on the journey where I unbox the printer, set it up so in the end we can print something. And this won't be a normal unboxing video because I don't want to celebrate to take out each single part from the box here. I simply unbox it and set it up. Before we start, here's a short advice. This video has no sponsorship. I bought the printer myself, so there's no support from Elegoo or from the dealer where I bought the printer. And with that, let's go and set up this thing. So alright, after unboxing it looks a little bit like this here. So we have multiple parts. So we have the base of the printer with the printing plate. We have the cooling system, the power cord, some glue for better build plate adhesion. We have the printing head, the holder for the display itself, the holder for the filament roll here, the support for the portal of the Z-axis, and here we have additional parts here. So we have the filament sensor, we have some tools for assembling, zip ties, screws, some test filament here, and the spatula to take off the finished printing here. So many parts here. And of course we have the manual itself. And before you ask, the Z-axis, the portal for the Z-axis is placed next to me here on the other table because there was no space on this table here. But we will need it in the next step. But first, let's take a look at the manual and then we assemble the printer. According to the instructions, we start by mounting the print head as the first step. The backs of the screws are labeled accordingly, making it very easy to find the appropriate screws. First I add the screws on the front, then I flip the frame around, and here I recommend that you put a piece of the packaging underneath because then the print head is not on the table. And then you can easily screw in the screws on the back side. In the second step, the Z-axis frame is mounted on the printer. Here I put another piece of packaging underneath, place the frame on top of the printer and screw in the first screw. Then I turn once and add the screw on the other side. This will hold the frame in place, and then you can carefully, the emphasis here is on caution, lay it on its side and screw in the remaining two screws. Step 3 now becomes easy again. The holder for the display is mounted. This is secured by 3 screws. Then comes the display. It has a magnetic plate on the back and holds it in the holder, so you can easily take it away. And last but not least, the antenna for the Wi-Fi is now installed. The screw connection was a little stiff, but I could fasten it by using the contained tools. Now we continue at the top with the holder for the filament roll. You have to screw it together, this is not a big deal, and at the top of the frame there are 2 sliding blocks within the frame which you have to screw the screws. Now attach the filament sensor with the screw to the side of the holder, and don't be surprised here, the sensor must be loose. The screw is especially made this way because the sensor has to be able to move in all directions. Now it's time to wire the printhead. The cable is plugged in at the top of the printhead, and then you have to press the cable into the holder at the printhead. It's a little bit difficult, but it has to hold up later. To make the frame of the Z-axis more stable, 2 struts are now added. These are attached with 2 screws each, 1 screw at the top and 1 at the bottom. The lengths of the struts are already preset, and I have to admit I didn't check it. I trust the people at Elegoo here. So that you have proper cooling, the fan is now placed behind the printhead. It blows the air horizontally over the printing bed. You can optionally turn this off, because I can tell you right now, it makes a lot of noise. Now comes the cable clamp, which presented me a little puzzle, I have to admit. But in the end, the thick cable has to go through the clamp, even if you think it will never fit. The cable then runs relatively close to the threaded rods of the drive. I hope the engineers didn't make a miscalculation here. And finally, the cables are connected to the Z-axis motors and the sensors. Then on the other side, and you are done. So alright, printer's assembled, and yeah, the manual is pretty straightforward. It worked pretty well. The only exception was this clamp here on the top where the cable runs through. This was a little riddle for me, and in my point of view it's not the best solution, but we will see how it works when we are printing here. So there's an additional step which is also mentioned here in the introduction. This is, you have some guiding wheels here below the printhead on the left and on the right. Please check the wheels are not loosened, and the same applies to the heating bed. There are also some guiding wheels below the heating bed on the left and on the right. Please check the wheels are tightened. In my case, the wheel on this side here and the wheel on below the printing bed here on this side was loosened, but not a big deal. Just use the wrench and tighten the wheels and you are done. Yeah, the whole process took me about 40 minutes, but this is due to filming in my case. I think in reality, when you're not filming, you need 20 minutes to a maximum of 30 minutes to assemble the whole printer, so not a big deal. So I think it's time to plug it in and start the printer. So right, printer is fired up, and here we have the home menu. So here we have the printing stuff. You can print directly from the USB stick. Here we have the settings. Here you can change the language, Wi-Fi connection, light control of the printer, factory settings, advanced settings, but I will not get into this at this point. Then we have the menu for preparing your print. But the most important menu for us is the level menu, because before the first use we have to level the print bed. Alright, according to the instructions, the first time leveling is performed the following way. Don't panic to remember this, the printer will guide you. You take a normal sheet of paper from a printer and place it between the print bed and the nozzle. Then use the up and down keys on the display to adjust the Z offset, so you have a light pressure of the nozzle on the sheet of paper. So when you are done with that, continue with auxiliary. Then you have to adjust all 6 positions of the print bed one after another. Always place the sheet of paper in between and use the adjustment screws below the print bed to manually correct the height now. When done with the first corner, go through the process for all 6 positions now. After adjusting the print bed, you continue with auto leveling. Now the printer will heat up the nozzle and the print bed and runs its leveling process. Just sit back and watch. auto leveling is completed, you should place the sheet of paper between the nozzle and the print bed again. Just check the pressure is the same as before auto leveling was done. So now we are done with leveling, now it's time to print something. Alright, with the printing of the Banshee, the process of assembling and the quick setup of the printer is completed. And I have to say, even though I simply assembled the printer and adjusted the leveling of the printing bed, the result is impressive. Of course, there are a few small areas that can certainly be improved with some optimizations, but for a quick start, the result is amazing in my opinion. So we are nearly at the end. So if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing because this way you can support me and my channel, and please tell me down in the comments what 3D printer you are using. And please tell me what kind of filament you are using for printing, because what the manufacturer writes in the instructions doesn't always correspond to what you can use for printing in reality. I'm looking forward to using this printer in my Halloween projects. There are currently 2 projects waiting for this printer because I need the larger printing volume, especially in the area, in order to be able to realize the projects in a good way. If you are interested in these projects, then activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new videos. The printer will now find its destination where it certainly served me well. So we are at the end now. I'm looking forward to see you again in the next video. For today I say thanks for watching, see you next time, take care and happy printing!